Yes, folks, this is day 3. Well, they're not full days, by the way, so don't judge me on that. It's only been 2 or 3 hours. Yesterday was 5 hours mowing. Well, back here, and I thought I'd get out the big guns. I was going to get the little rotary hoe, walk along, but no, I'm going to destroy everything. So just the Matic. I grew up on one of these, well, with one of these in my hand, folks. So I'm going to smash this out now, and then we'll get into the preparing the soil. Had a few comments. Some of them were about the rotary hoe. Well, have a look at this place. You can't really rotary hoe this area unless it was completely open. And second to that, the other comment was, how about doing a no-dig garden? The raised garden beds are no-dig gardens. Yes, we keep layering on top of those. We've put cardboard, we've got, mulch mat at the bottom of that. But to do it here, I don't want it spilling out because it's constantly raising. And look, I'm adding things to this already. But if I was going to put cardboard on this, yeah, shave it down and just layer this and hide all this underneath it and pretend it's not going to push through, ain't going to happen. Nah. This is going to be a no-dig garden. It'll end up being like the one next door. Here, have a look at this. So now some of the grass is creeping in. We haven't planted out yet, so we're going to pull out the parsley, cut it all down. But because we've got the mulch on top, it's actually suppressed it a lot. It hasn't travelled far, and that's what we're going to do with these beds here. So we're going to heavily mulch them as well. So first compost, our planting mix, and mulch on top. But this is a no-dig garden. We keep layering on top of it. Now this one needs to be cleaned up. It's nothing compared to what we've got to do here. Well, we've done the bulk of it, so now I'm going to dig this out, and then we're going to start adding more on top. Now the digging part, you can't avoid it. It's unavoidable because there's so much of it here. I can't just pull the top off. We've scratched the surface. There's 2 trains of thought here: no dig and dig. I get a lot of people saying, have a look at this email, or this YouTuber from the other side of the world who's doing layering gardens. That's fantastic, and no dig, and he's successful. But then I can go back to 20 years of footage and show you Vincenzo, Cosimo, Alex, and the list goes on, Costa, Yorgo, John, Michael, who dig the garden, and they have amazing crop. And they don't use chemicals either, so it's not about chemicals versus organic. It's a question of digging versus no digging. Yeah, I know the benefits and the disadvantages of digging a garden, but at the end of the day, they're succeeding still, and it's a seasonal crop, so they're rebuilding it every time. Think of it this way. Where does bad bacteria and fungi develop? In an environment where there's no airflow, no oxygen, right? So even on your body, if you're not oxygenating properly, if you're not balanced with your pH, you'll get illnesses developing. You'll feel weak. Your body starts to react to it, and you get bugs, tummy bugs and things like that. But when you've got good airflow, you're breathing well, you've got your lungs opening up, and you're training well, your body's immune system is, by far so much superior to those who are not training or locked up inside 24 hours a day. So that airflow suppresses it. It stops all those bacteria developing in the fungi, and that's the same with the soil. Sometimes the soil needs to be cracked open. You need to crack open the surface. I'm not talking about going this deep, just crack the surface open and allow a little bit of airflow into it, because that's good. Oxygenating the bad fungi and the bacteria knocks them out, because a good bacteria loves the airflow. They need oxygen. I want to hunt for something. Come here. I found it earlier. Maybe it's disappeared, but we might find it. Come here. I think it was just about here somewhere. Bad me. I didn't. Oh, jeez. Where was it? He's gone. I was looking for a big ass worm, folks, and I'm talking big. He's as thick as my index finger. I've spoken about these ones before. Really big, long like that, almost as thick as my index finger. I put him back in here because we weren't rolling the cameras, and I thought, no, he's not going to disappear, but he has. So you know what he's doing? He's burrowing through. He's oxygenating the soil, developing the bacteria for us, breeding it all there. They're a wonderful creature for our soil, and they're so important to have in our garden bed. So if you haven't got worms in your garden, you haven't got no life, because the worms bring the life into your garden bed. And they aerate it too, so they create those little tunnels along the place. So I've been digging, not that deep. Look, you can see how deep I've dug that there. It's only been about 2 inches or 3 inches. So I'm not going down to the base. I'm not going down any further than that unless I need to. And the only reason I need to is to get rid of the weeds. And that's what we're doing. Let's get on with it. At the end of the day, YouTube, or you choose, both, which way you want to practice your gardening techniques. You can do a no-dig garden, and if it works for you, by all means. I'm practicing both, and it really depends on the microclimate, the soil condition, Where it is, above ground, below ground, flat to the ground, you know, my raised beds, they always deplete. They just disappear because the plants grow and they suck it out of the ground, whatever's in there, and it starts to sink. And that means they're feeding on all the organic matter that we're adding in there. Here, well, it hasn't really sunken. It's still quite high. We've got a bit of a mound going on from the side edge, and that's how we did it about 9 months ago. So I'm still going to add on top of it, but whether you dig this, you've got to dig. Anybody says to me, put carpet on this and you'll be right. Honestly, I've done it before, and I'll show you another garden bed. I'm too embarrassed to show it to you. It's a bloody nightmare because the cooch has grown through the carpet and the cardboard. This much cardboard. Now, you can say sit there and maintain it, but the idea is not to be digging and pulling weeds out. It's meant to suppress them, meant to kill them off. And it hasn't. Some of these weeds need to be tackled with one of these, and sometimes a spray, unfortunately, but always go with an organic one if you can. That's important because it defeats the purpose of growing veggies if you're going to be spraying herbicides and, you know, chemicals into it. So do this, disturbing it, and sometimes scratching the surface is enough. Some plants don't need to be dug so deep. So you saw it earlier over there, it was only this deep that I scratched the surface. Here, well, I'm smashing into it. Okay. We haven't got every single weed out. Well, not all their roots. There are some roots down deep below, and you may consider this to be a bit of a band-aid fix, folks, but you know, at the end of the day, if I try and get on top of it and maintain it, they shouldn't grow back with a vengeance. Well, the pennyroyal and the arthritis herb, that is, will try and grow back with a vengeance, that's for sure. But this time, as we always say, we're going to try and stop it from happening. All right, so a light layer now, a leveling, that is. We took out the feverfew too, by the way. Have a look at this. That's come out. Big hole in the ground. Oh, wait, let's just read this here. Get that out. You can see, look how good the soil is. At the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of life. Now, I did take it out for a reason, because I want to replant it. Look at that grass just sneaking through. I'm going to replant it again, but this time reposition it in a different spot. It's not a bad spot. I mean, these are garlic chives that you're looking at here as well. Now, I haven't dug these up before. We've cut them down a few times. So I think it's time to take these out as well and divide them. Oh, Jesus, I've got a decent root ball on them. Okay, have a look at this beauty. I'm not chucking them out, don't freak out. Jeez, they smell good too. So, one little clump it was, one little tiny clump that we had growing in here, and now we've got this mass, and I'm going to try and divide these, and we might just start at 1, 2, 3, 4, use them as dividers between all the leafy greens. So we section it off. Yeah, that'll be a good idea. Be creative with your planting, folks. You know, we can plant in rows. Bear with me as I tear open this yellow foam book. That's what it feels like I'm doing. For those who are freaking out on what I'm doing, I've shown you many a time in the past putting them in water and dividing them. See that? You may lose 1 or 2 little plants here, but these are tough as nails. All right? Look at this. Look how see how they come apart? You can divide them like this as well. But when you're talking little punnets and seedlings, you know, coming from a punnet, not all seedlings should go through the water cycle. So there's a clump there, one. Here, look at this. Yeah, just wiggle it around like that, Sue. Jesus, I've got lots here. We'll get 2 out of this one. We can get more than 4 clumps out of each little, well, 8 clumps technically is what I'm doing. 6. I've got garlic chives for life here, folks. 7, 8, and some new ones coming up on the side here. Look at that, plenty. Anyway, I'd leave that as 9. So they're going to go into beds, front, middle and end. But before we do that, let's get them out of the way. We'll level off the soil and let's top dress it. So we've leveled it off. What I'm going to spread over here now is a light layer of our compost. This is our organic compost from the green waste recycling plant. And you only need a fine layer because we are technically now doing a no-dig garden. Because we're not just adding a manure, we're actually lifting it up a little bit more. Well, it's not a no-dig garden because we've already dug it. Anyway, so 3 bags, what are we here? We've got 3, 6, 9 metres. So a bag will comfortably do, we'll do 3 to 4 square metres comfortably. Now we don't need a lot here, folks, because we're going to put a bit more in there. We're only going to put a couple of inches overall between our compost and our planting mix. Look, look. Poor bugger. Now that's a little one. That's a tiny worm. Put it back in there. Rain's coming, folks. That doesn't deter us. We love rain. Not lots of it, but we do like it. Now, if you haven't noticed, I've got a pathway down the middle as well. Compost is down. Doesn't need a lot in the middle. You can see how it's already raising up pretty high. And we're going to top dress it with our amazing planting mix. Oh, it's not looking good. Blue skies over there. Dirty grey ones coming in. And the rain's starting to settle in, so it's a light shower now at the moment. If it gets any heavier, we're going to have to call it quits. You know what? No, I'll keep going. It's going to get too wet for us to work in here now. I'm going to have to call it quits for today, folks. Pack up everything, but before I go, just a quick mention about the Arcos Kilo. I'm heading out there this afternoon, straight after here. Well, in fact, I'm going to wash up and go there. We're having a staff training session there, so I'm going to go through all our products and educate the team there and answer all their questions so they can inform you. So when you pop out down to the Arcos, rest assured that they know exactly what they're talking about when it comes to our product range, and we'll be able to give you all the advice you need on what to use where and how to use it. Otherwise, check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. Look, planting mix, our compost and all that is available at Fountains Galore, Oakley Produce, and a couple of other locations as well, KC Gardens as well. So go to our website, vasilisgarden.com, to find out your nearest stockist of whatever you're looking for, especially this stuff here, which is beautiful stuff. Maresi.